Would I be the butthole for telling the neighbors down the street no parent, no pool? We put in a pool a few months ago and the pool deck is still in progress. It's all dirt tone currently. The kid down the street who is a bit older than our kids saw us in the pool from the road today and came down to ask if he could swim. We really didn't want anyone because it's still a disaster out back, but I said he could if his mom was coming over. He came back 10 minutes later in swim trunks with a towel and no parent in sight and said she couldn't come. My wife let him go in anyway and was texting his mom, but I told her I'm going to talk to the parents and tell them that going forward the rule is no parent, no pool. I'm not running a daycare all summer and I don't feel like being held hostage to stay outside because the kids are all playing. The kid is quite a bit older, but just because they are fine with him running around the neighborhood doesn't mean I want him stopping by uninvited every time he sees us outside. My wife doesn't want me to say anything. She says to just tell him next time that we are going inside, but I don't feel like lying, and he would still see us from the road. I want to set the ground rules early. Would I be the butthole for telling them he can't just come by every time we are out back and that when he do they need to be with him? Edit, a word. Edit, just to add for everyone that is worried, we already increased our hose liability and purchased a pup policy on top of that to cover the excess liability. So we are good with the liability side. It's more about the watching them. Edit again, to clarify for the you need a fence. People. Yes, we are well aware we need a fence. The pool was just built. The patio is just being put in this month. The fence comes after the site work. It will have a fence, chill. Edit for more clarity, there is a temporary fence. My God, people. Stop harping on something I literally can't make happen any faster than I can get someone out here. Not the butthole, your private pool isn't a community pool, for F's sake, and I'd be ashamed and embarrassed as hell if that were my kid. I wouldn't even go with him. I'd tell my kids we have no business bothering others to use their pool, that's so rude. Original poster replies. We don't mind people coming to use the pool. We're pretty close with our 2 immediate neighbors and friendly with the others. We've said all along we want our neighbors to come over with their kids to use the pool. I just don't want people sending their kids without supervision. Ah, okay. I would add that to the original poster, but still not the butthole. Pools can be dangerous, and how are you to know who is good swimmer and who isn't? Without the parents there, it's a huge liability. Hope you have good homeowners insurance. Yeah, there are so many issues here that could put original poster in a lot of liability. They can't be sure who is a good swimmer / who isn't. Original poster doesn't have eyes on the back of their head and can't keep an eye on everyone to see if anyone is drowning struggling to swim. Still, under construction equals pretty much a construction zone, not safe for kids. Does original poster know CPR in case of a drowning? Original poster, if you don't know CPR / first aid, I would recommend getting it, not just for liability for the other children but yours as well. It can save theirs or others' lives or help prevent brain damage while be resuscitated. Although I'm not sure what the CPR training is like RN with you know what, but I would definitely look into it and research the warning signs of drowning. Also, original poster, be firm about this no parents, no swimming rule, and especially with the other parents too who may try to brush you off or become petty towards you for shutting their kids' fun times down. Reiterate with the parents that you aren't a trained lifeguard and this isn't a community pool. They, the parents, need to respect your decision about the child not being allowed in your pool without them there because A, it's your property, and B, it's their children's well-being you're looking out for. Say that this is for a children's safety and say you're not budging because of that. Make sure your wife backs you up and point out the weight of a child drowning could rest on both your consciences if there are too many children in the pool for you both, or even one of you, to watch / keep safe. I know that's rough, and if she agrees then you don't need to pull that card, but it is something that can legitimately happen if either one of you wavers on this rule. Also ask the other parents to reiterate it with their child. They can't go in the pool unless both you, original poster, or your wife, and them, the parents, are at the pool. I have a feeling some parents are so petty that if you don't specify you will come home and see their whole family making themselves at home in your pool malicious compliance style. Not the butthole. You need to realize that you are opening a can of some really nasty worms. Your pool will become the neighborhood pool if allow this older kid to use your pool, parent or not. Use of your pool should be direct invite only. Wow, you had a really bad situation big time. Hope everything is much better for you now. Upvoted Blue Boy 754. I've read original posters edits about having enough liability insurance and having a temp fence until all the backyard work is done. I just don't feel that original poster understands that now that the older kid has had access to the pool, not original poster's fault since wife okayed it, he may well figure out how to get around the temp fence and use the pool anytime original poster's family is not around or at least present, and may invite others. It's not just about having insurance, though that's important, it's about big and little kids getting around the temp fence, or even the permanent one depending on how it's built and locked, and getting drowned. You may not be financially out, but if a kid dies I assume you and wife will feel awful, and can guarantee it will split the neighborhood no matter how much you tell them kids weren't allowed without supervision. Original poster's wife is clueless about pools and kids apparently. They are attractive nuisances, and she made a huge mistake in 1, letting the boy swim without his parent, 2, letting anyone outside family swim while just a temp fence is up, and 3, stopping original poster from having a firm chat with swim boy's parents. Not the butthole. But the problem has already happened. Original poster and wife better be prepared for kids showing up asking to swim, or just climbing over the fence without asking. It happens. We've had stories on Reddit about it happening. There are newspaper stories every week in the summer about such drownings. I don't think you realize what your wife is starting. You know the phrase, give them an inch, give them a mile? You now will have kids coming over without warning, when you are not home, without parents, and be liable for them at the same time. And I don't care what kind of insurance policy you have, the headache and resentment, not to mention increase in your rates, if a kid gets hurt while breaking your rules is just not worth it. Put up a locked fence with a no trespassing sign. You can open the gate if you want to, but it shows that the rest of the time it is off limits. My nephew drowned in a pool at 4 years old. He was in a pool with several other kids and 5 adults watching the kids swim. He was with my aunt at a work get-together. She went in the house to feed her baby and asked her co-workers to keep an eye on him, and when she came back she found him. Drowning can happen anytime, and even if other adults/kids are around. All I can think about after reading this is how irresponsible it is of original poster's wife to be so flippant about this. That's terrible, and it happens in an instant. My cousin was 4 years old, came out of the house, walked past a couple of adults and stepped into the deep end of the pool. They sank like a stone, someone jumped in and pulled them out. The mother still has what if? Nightmares. My son did something similar at the age of 2, blessedly right between 2 teenagers. One of them went right in after him and pulled him out before I was even at the pool side. I was walking a few feet behind him, stupidly thinking it was a small pool area, and I was close enough, a mistake I do not repeat now. That kid is the best person on this earth as far as I'm concerned, and I hope he's having a wonderful life. She said it happened so fast your brain doesn't even register it for a few seconds. Apparently, people have an idea that drowning is shouting and flailing about. But in reality, it's someone just quietly sinking into the water. Exactly. The kid is 12 now and it's still like, holy crap, he could have so easily died right there. Exactly. WTF is original poster thinking. You can't just let people in and out of your pool. Guess what else you will start doing? Feeding them if you are eating. You will also feel very bad if a kid dies. Put up a fence. You don't know who will be watching their baby cousin that day. Anything could happen. Put up a fence with a lock. There was a post on here a few weeks ago about a fellow who'd bought a house that had a pool that a neighbor's kid had died in. Previous owner had left the neighborhood after the tragic event, and neighbor, the one whose child drowned, was on him about not letting his own kids use the pool. I guess what I am saying is you don't want kids using your pool unsupervised, because bad things can happen. Actually, I think the parent of the child who died wanted that original poster to remove the pool. Believe it was in-ground and having had one of those, that is one really big hole to fill. You will get fed up with the not your kids soon enough. Especially if they start coming into your yard to swim, sunbathe, play, use and break your stuff while you are not even there. Not all of them, but some will do it. Been there, done that. Had to chase them out in a very rude way, or they didn't get the message at all and it didn't improve the relationship with their parents and other neighbors. We were like under locust attack. Most of kids in our pool we didn't even know whom they belonged to. Came from faraway houses and I guess their friends and relatives too. And the pool got filthy fast when they went in with muddy feet. Overall total May. Yeah, I get that kids invite themselves sometimes, but that has to be nipped in the bud early. It isn't anything for a parent to lose their crap over, but a lesson from time to time about not inviting ourselves to things is needed for everyone. There are definitely kids out there who do this a few times and learn quickly. There are others whose parents don't care, as long as their kid get the F out, and leaves them alone for a bit. Plenty of others just don't know though. I would bet, and hopefully win, that the odds are good the parent doesn't even know the kid invited themselves. Not the butthole. It's a reasonable rule. Plus you have to think of liability if anything happened to this child. I agree with you, lying to this kid isn't going to help. If he shows up without a parent, send him to go get one. Are you positive he is even asking his parent to come, or just tell parent neighbor said I can use their pool? Right. The liability alone makes me refuse to let anyone I haven't known for 3 months or more on my property. If I've met you twice, you're sure as hell not setting foot in my house and especially not swimming in my pool. I don't know if I can trust you enough yet to not hurt yourself then sue me for damages because you couldn't watch where you were walking. It's actually why all the kids in my parents' subdivision know all too well to stay the hell off their driveway. Won't get into that bit of ancient history here, but yeah. That was a bad year. Original poster needs to put his foot down and protect their house and family. This can end badly for all parties if the rules keep being neglected. That is so unbelievable. The cheek of the parents to try to sue for their own kids' reckless behavior. Even though original poster has hose insurance or whatever to protect him, in the update, I still have to imagine that if some unsupervised kid drowns in your pool that's going to weigh on you for ages, even though it's not your fault. I wouldn't want that, and I wouldn't want original poster to go through that. Not the butthole. You should also read up on laws regarding if someone becomes injured on your property. The last thing you want is to be liable for a horrible accident happening in your pool without adequate supervision. Some places are very strict, and if the injury/death happened on your property you could be sued. We were the house with the pool growing up and it was a no-go for anyone else unless you spoke to us, cleaned up after yourself, had full supervision, and left before quiet hours. There may be times you guys want private use and a precedent will have been set for these kids showing up all willy-nilly. Rules don't make you a butt. Original poster replies. That's my other concern. Sometimes we just want to use our pool ourselves. Or even with just some other friends. Don't want people crashing all summer. I think once the landscaping is done around it I'll be getting some bushes to block the view from the street. I've heard of someone with a pool putting up a flag to signal when others in the neighborhood are welcome to come join them. If the flag is not up, you don't go over. And not the butthole. Requiring a parent for any minors makes perfect sense. That's an excellent idea. We may do that. Not the butthole. This is actually quite reasonable. You have a right to your privacy and you also don't want your pool to become a public utility. Like you said, you need to set up your rules early. You also want to set up where the kids go home when you want to go inside when there are no other parents around. That is a safety issue. I hope you are getting a fence put around the pool, otherwise it sounds like you are going to have a lot of uninvited visitors, as well as a safety nightmare. Original poster replies. We are. It's still under construction. The pool is in, but no patio surround or fence up yet. It's all in progress. Not the butthole at all. Having random kids in your pool is a huge liability. Not the butthole. If you leave him out there unattended, and he gets hurt or drowns, you're liable. Also, it's your pool and totally understandable if you don't want randos hanging around. I had a pool installed a few years ago and I can't believe how many neighbors I've never talked to hint at wanting to come for a swim. Not the butthole, but this rule isn't going to work the way you want it to. You'll end up having people in your backyard, even when you aren't. Not the butthole. It's your pool. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.